welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. It's here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling. And to make sure, you follow the GSMC Sports Network, follow the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast so you can get more awesome content, a lot of sports shows. We have baseball, basketball, football, 2 football shows. We have sports all around. You also have a soccer podcast by my boy, Emran. That's, in about 38 minutes. So make sure you tune into that. So let's go and dig on into some AEW All Out results. I'm going to talk about some of my reactions. I feel like all in all, it was great. It was a great pay-per-view. I dig it. I feel like it was, I feel like I loved it. I feel like it was pretty great. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into our first match here. We are obviously live in Chicago. I think it's Chicago, right? Chicago? It doesn't really say. But the All Out event featured the 0 Hour. You saw the Acclaim defeat the Iron Savages. And obviously, Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and Hologram. They're a pretty good team. They're a pretty good team. I watched highlights. I have not yet, I did not really watch in depth All In. I watched a little bit of All Out. I feel like there was a hell of a lot of, a lot of highlights for All Out because of all the controversies and stuff like that. So I was able to watch a good deal of it. The Bang Bang Gang defeated the Dark Order. There's no doubt in my mind. They're going to see the Bang Bang Gang once again become pretty awesome, pretty damn awesome. You're going to see, you saw the Undisputed Kingdom win. You also, notable moments. You saw the way MXM collection was shown. Watching TV backstage was actually pretty hilarious. MX, collection, the WWE usually had I think Mansoor, and then the alien I believe was the other guy. And oh my God, I can't believe the other guy's name. But overall, it just didn't really work. It's going to be interesting to see what, how AEW kind of introduces this. But then you saw a match. You saw an amazing match between MJF and Daniel Garcia. MJF ultimately picked up the victory, but this was great for Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia had an amazing match. It's going to be a proof for him to have future title shots, future shots at the AEW TNT Championship, future shots at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, maybe even Ring of Honor, maybe the CMLL. The sky's the limit. Sky's the limit 1,010%. It had the build up. It really, MJF could build up any kind of match. You saw him on AEW Dynamite where he was kissing the forehead of a beaten, battered, and bloody Daniel Garcia. He was the blood was dripping from his mouth like a freaking vampire. It was kind of cool. MJF is one of the loudest trash talkers in professional wrestling, and AEW, they have him, and I feel like ever since he kind of made his way back to AEW, it's been pretty damn great. Next, you saw the Young Bucks defeat Claudio Castagnoli against Wheeler Yuta for the tag team titles. Obviously, this would be big. This would be big because of what happened later on in the show. But the Young Bucks once again defeat a tag team. Their match wasn't bad. I feel like overall, the Bucks defeated a Blackpool Combat Club. Some of the best wrestlers in AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling, the CMLL. I love the Young Bucks. I do. I really do. And then you haven't really seen much of this whole elite thing. And not much of a surprise. Not much of a surprise at all, actually. I feel like the Young Bucks deserve better. I do. I think right now they're kind of like this one-trick pony where they have these same promos and it happens. They have the same style of fight inside the ring where they do the same moves. Even the Undertaker said in in a podcast that you don't really get much oomph from the Young Bucks. But before they really honestly kind of got comfortable with everything that was going on in AEW, obviously you had everything go down. Yeah, Cody Rhodes leave, CM Punk leave, and you kind of had to be someone who was going to step up. So then Tony Khan, and no blaming Tony Khan in this decision. He was like, you know what, the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, these boys from Rancho Cucamonga could definitely hold a stable that everyone's gonna hate. People are gonna draw in every week just to see these guys get their ass kicked. Hopefully. But it doesn't really seem like Jack Perry seems like he's doing his own thing. Kazuchika Okada, the AEW Continental Champion, seems like he's kind of on his own thing. And then now you have the Young Bucks kind of fighting to, kind of save their careers. And, like I said, sucks. I love and respect the Young Bucks. I hate that they were put in this position where they, kind of had to play superhero, kind of had to be this Captain Save-A-Ho for Tony Khan's promotion of AEW. Like I said, with Rhodes gone, with Punk on, MJF injured. Also, you had Samoa Joe leaving. You had Kenny Omega going down for surgery. Hangman Adam Page's, suspension. And it's kind of crazy. But overall, I love that the Young Bucks won. But I just want to see something better. I just want to see something better for them. Will Ospreay defeated PAC for the AEW International Championship. This was pretty great. I thought overall, I watched highlights of this match. This match was probably the best on the card. A lot of high flying. I thought that definitely was pretty awesome. You're going to see Will Ospreay finally take a blow against, you're going to see Ricochet, kind of find his way into that storyline. Especially with this whole thing going down between the Blackpool Combat Club, and the patriarchy. And now, right now, these trios matches are getting more attention, getting more, intense. So I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be pretty cool. Willow Nightingale taking on Chris Statlander in a Chicago Street fight. Statlander obviously defeated Willow Nightingale, and I knew this was kind of, I knew that Willow Nightingale was gonna lose. She put up one hell of a match though. This match was great. It was great. I did watch this match. This match was absolutely 1,010% something that was, got you your bang for your buck, paying for pay-per-view. Well, I've been a huge star. I've been a huge believer of Willow Nightingale ever since I laid my eyes on her. Becoming a new AEW fan. I was like, you know what? I love this girl. I love what she's about. You kind of started posting on social media where she went to a wrestling club in a high school. And kind of introduced herself. Everybody knew who she was. It was, it's special. Not a lot of people can connect to the fans like that. And Willow Nightingale is one of those baby faces who can. Chris Statlander did such a great job too as well. Even Stokely, that song, but just kidding. No, I feel like this match was definitely one of the best matches you've seen in on an AEW PLE card in terms of the women's division. So, kudos to them. Kudos to them. All right, we saw Kazuchika Okada defeat Orange Cassidy, Konosuke Takeshita, and Mark Briscoe for the Continental Championship. Not really much to say about this match. I'm impressed of how Kaz Okada is still making a name for himself. I had a lot of doubt. I did have a lot of doubt, thinking that he was going to eventually kind of make it toward the wayside of AEW because he's not the same guy from New Japan Professional Wrestling, and that's something that AEW should have picked up on a long time ago. 1,010%. They should have been like, you know what? Kaz Okada is one of the hottest free agents that we've ever picked up, and now we kind of have him in bullspit bookings, and in promos where he's partying with Mercedes Monet, and where he's like, "Oh, Mercedes Monet, oh my god!" Like, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense for Kaz Okada to kind of do all that. So I want to see him inside the ring, and I want to see him wrestle. Speaking of Mercedes Moné, we saw her defeat Hakura Shida for the TBS Championship, retaining. This match was also actually one of the worst matches on the card. It was pretty terrible. After you saw encounters once again, she got herself disqualified with the kendo stick, but decided not to. The momentary last allowed Mercedes Moné to produce the moneymaker for the win. It's just, I don't know. It just seemed it was one of those matches where you had interference happen and then like stuff happens. Sorry, excuse me. And then you're like, you know what? That sucks. It was a horrible match. But she's also a heel. So I feel like whenever a heel kind of wins a match kind of blotchy, you can't really blame them for doing that because at the same time, you got to respect the heel for when doing anything and everything to win their matches. But overall, I thought it was kind of crazy. Bryan Danielson defeated Jack Perry for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. But then after the match, you saw Jon Moxley, you saw Claudio Castagnoli and PAC and Wheeler Yuta come into, they were trying to congratulate Bryan Danielson on his first ever AEW World Heavyweight Championship defense, but they turned on him. They turned on him. Jon Moxley put his head in a bag, suffocating him, and it was really intense. It was crazy. 1,010%. Wheeler Yuta really honestly didn't want any part of it, but it's clear now that the stable that Jon Moxley has between PAC, Castagnoli, and Marina Shafir, the problem of Ring of Honor, it was kind of crazy. Even the fans were chanting like, "This is murder." This is murder. So all in all, it was a pretty crazy match. All in all, in terms of professional wrestling, depending on what kind of wrestling fan you are, it kind of rubbed people the wrong way. We're going to get into it in our next segment. All right, and finally, we have Hangman Adam Page defeating Swerve Strickland in a lights out cage match. You've seen, from stabbing someone in the head to chair shots to freaking, shots to the mouth, and like it was wow. It was absolutely nuts. It was crazy. It was something that a lot of wrestling fans were like, man, is AEW too violent for me to watch and for my kids to watch? Which is why we're going to talk about it now. So don't go anywhere. In our fifth and final segment, we're going to talk about how a lot of people, have somebody has a petition trying to, ban AEW programming off the air. We're going to dig into that when we come back. So, hey, do not go anywhere.